welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board-certified OBGYN, and today we are talking about how to balance your hormones in a week. Now, you may have been told that it takes months and months and months, and to some degree, there is deeper work and consistent changes that we want in your body over time. But the truth is, your hormones can actually start responding quickly to changes, and yes, it can happen in 7 days. So in this video, we will be talking about what balancing your hormones truly means. We'll talk about why 1 week is enough to get your hormones reset. And we'll talk about what you should focus on a daily basis to help you on your journey to hormonal balance. So let's start by talking about what hormone balance truly means. This is not about perfection. This perfect world that we think exists, we've never experienced, and we would love to. This is about making changes in our lives that will optimally allow the 50 plus hormones we have internally to work together well enough so that we have less symptoms, we feel better, we have good energy, we look healthy and well. And we do this by helping to eliminate the things that are causing our hormones to be imbalanced. Hormones respond to the things we eat, how we sleep, or movement. They respond when they have all the things that they need to produce, secrete, and remove all the toxins within our bodies so that you're more clear, you're living life, and you're flourishing, and you're restoring your internal rhythm so that you feel well. Sometimes we can test our hormones in the lab and they return and your levels are completely normal, and yet you feel terrible. You have no energy. You're absolutely fatigued. You're dealing with hormonal acne. You are struggling to lose weight. You're having a lot of extra weight in your abdominal section. You are having problems with your fertility and your menstrual cycles, and the list goes on. These symptoms are a reflection of being hormonally imbalanced, regardless of what the labs say. Our hormones change throughout the day. And so because of that, it is truly difficult for us to take a blood sample in one moment of time and have that be a reflection of what's happening inside every minute of the day. And so because of that, we rely on your symptoms to guide us as far as whether or not you are hormonally imbalanced or not. Now, 1 week, as I've mentioned before, is absolutely enough. And you may be wondering, well, how so? What do I need to do? Where do I start? Before we dive into that, cortisol, for instance, starts to respond to changes within 24 to 72 hours. We know that blood sugar can start to stabilize in a matter of a couple of days. We know that the gut microbiome, the bacteria that makes our gut function and remains normal, we know that responds in a matter of 2 days. We know that your sleep hormones like melatonin and cortisol, we know those recalibrate in a matter of hours. So yes, we can start to make change within a week, within 7 days. So let's talk about how to do so. If you were to look at a 7-day picture, I would say, let's first start with stabilizing your blood sugar. We'll do that for the first couple of days. The fastest way to calm your hormones when it comes to sugar, the spikes that can happen when it comes to blood sugar, is to make sure that every single meal that you're eating incorporates proteins, carbs, and fats. It is very easy to have a carb-heavy meal. What do we mean by carbs? Rice, bread, potatoes, the snacks. It is so easy to grab a slice of bread or to grab a granola bar or a slice of pizza. These things are grab and go. It's very easy for us to have a meal that is heavily rice and with very little protein. And so it's easy to get a carb-heavy meal. Even our snacks. It is so easy to grab some chips or a cookie. And what's missing here is that sometimes we have fats in there, but we don't have any protein. And so we find our glucose and our sugar levels spike and are helping our overall hormonal imbalance the quickest because we are not giving our bodies what it needs to create balance. And so days 1 and 2, I would say focus on protein, carbs, and fats. Fats are just as important. It could be from an avocado, it could be coconut oil. We want healthy fats, not unhealthy fats. And if we start to incorporate our vegetables when we are eating our meals as well, our diet will start to create balance by allowing our sugars to not spike, because now we have fiber, now we have healthy fats, now we have protein. And so our sugar level doesn't spike when we eat, it becomes more stabilized. Over 48 hours alone, if we're to eat very balanced, breakfast, lunch, and dinner times 2 days, you will start to have stability in your sugar and make the world of a difference. And while we're doing this, incorporate the fiber with our vegetables. Fiber is very important for helping to get rid of toxins in our body. They're not absorbed, and so because of that, it sits inside of our colon and help to make soft stools. And so as we're creating these healthy meals with our protein, carbs, and fats, incorporate a lot of green vegetables so we can help our hormones exit our body and not get it reabsorbed, keep our stools nice and soft, and while we're at it, drink lots of water with this. The next couple of days, we'll say days 3 and 4, I would focus reducing inflammation. Inflammation often sometimes linked with what we call ROS, reactive oxygen species. Super complex, but if I try to make this simplified as much as I can here, whenever we eat, especially ultra-processed foods, we create a system or activate a system internally in which our body is trying to fight against the processed foods. We become inflamed because our ROS increases, which is reactive oxidative species trying to create calm on the inside. The way that we try to reduce inflammation is to, 1, take supplements, those that are antioxidants, but greater than that is eating fruits and vegetables because they naturally provide antioxidants to our body that will fight off the bad things for us. It will fight off the ROS that gets created when we eat processed foods. Inflammation affects our ovaries and ovulation. It affects our thyroid and the functioning of it. It affects our insulin, our levels of insulin, the way our bodies respond to insulin. Making simple swaps, again, with our diet will help with this. We want to eat a lot more whole foods, things that are more natural, things that are not in a can or in a package. And we want to move. We want to be active. You don't need to be like a bodybuilder. A lot of women, especially, I know, are not very comfortable in the gym, but it could be movement at home. It could be doing exercise videos or, following a program online. It could be going for a walk outside. It means moving because movement helps to decrease our cortisol. It helps to decrease inflammation. It helps to make us feel better because it releases all of the good hormones and neurotransmitters that goes on in our brain to make us feel good. And so it's a good start. And so if we are not exercising or moving much within a week, if we incorporated a system where we integrate movement a little bit each day, within 7 days, you'll start to feel so much better. Next, as we go along our line here for 7 days, I would then start to focus probably around day 5 on our gut. Gut bacteria is really important for a lot of things. The feeling that you have when you're bloated, that's linked with your gut, and oftentimes an unhappy gut. The gut is responsible for helping to get rid of excess hormones, especially estrogen. If you've ever heard of estrogen dominance, this is a state in which we have too much estrogen in our system. If we're obese, that easily happens because fat cells produce estrogen. If we are hormonally active, our ovaries will produce lots of estrogen. And so our gut is very important at metabolizing estrogen. And so if our gut is unhappy or it doesn't have all the probiotics it needs or the microbiome is one that is imbalanced, what happens is that the estrogens are not being broken down and excreted and removed from your system well enough. And then now you have an overactivity of estrogen systemically, which will lead to symptoms such as not ovulating regularly, the acne, it's fatigue, and it's just a slew of things that happens when estrogen is too active in our system. And while we don't talk about this much, if we have overactive estrogen in our system long term, this can also increase the likelihood of cancer. This is cancer of the uterus, cancer of our ovaries, breast cancer. In general, estrogens should not be dominant in our system, and we want to try our best to reduce that, or at least create balance in our estrogen as much as possible while we're exposed to them. And by that I mean, before we become menopausal, when estrogens go down anyways, we want to optimize and help to reduce overactivity of our estrogens. So as we continue to move throughout our week, right? So we're focusing on our foods the first couple of days. We're incorporating movement around day 3, day 4. We're working on our gut by day 5, day 6. As we are doing this, and as we're going along our week, the last thing that I would say that we absolutely want to focus on is sleep. Now it's easier said than done. We work, we have busy lives, we have families, we have friends, we wear so many hats. And so it can be challenging. But I put this towards the end of the week because it really requires more intentionality. We need you to focus and create a plan for integrating effective and enough sleep. We really want to aim to have at least 8 hours per night, or very close to it if you can. Sleeping is where we repair our hormones. This is where we replenish them. Everything from our melatonin or cortisol or growth hormone or insulin, these are all replenished when we sleep at night. Literally, if you've not had a good night's sleep, or if you remember whenever you've ever had a good night's sleep, do you remember how amazing you feel the next day? There's just a lightness about you, right? The energy is so high, you're just beaming. This is exactly what we want, and it's a reflection of how important it is to sleep and sleep well. And lastly, I'll say by day 6 or 7 of your journey, we want to focus on stress. The world is a very stressful place right now, right? It probably always has been, but it seems like we have and carry more stress today than we did previously. With all of the things that happens around us, we want to decrease how much of that is being internalized. You can have personal stress, of course, you can have financial stress, you can have work-related stress, so many different levels of stress. But wherever possible, if we can try to reduce that or exposure to it, really quickly, I just want to mention here that I stopped watching the news regularly. And the reason why I did is because I realized that with every bad story that I heard, it started becoming a part of me. So even if I would try to go to bed, I'm thinking about the fire that I heard about, or the shootings that I just heard about, or, what's happening somewhere else in the world that could be affecting us. And you don't realize how internally that starts to weigh on you. And I realized, and I was just like, okay, I need to start to control what goes inside of me. Even in our conversations with friends and family, it's very easy to be inundated by everyone's problems, especially if you are the solution person, right? It's time for us to control that. We need to control what enters into us, whether it's the food or what we hear, or however we're spending our energies. And that's what we really want you to start to focus on and get a handle on. Yes, you can make change in 7 days. And you know what? I can help you with that in a couple of ways, actually. First off, I do have a 7-day program that thousands have tried and have been proven to help to reset your hormones. I have information about that below in our description here, but also I have a free book, an ebook called Hormones Don't Lie, and I'd love to get that into your hands. I'd love to get that on your screen. I'd love for you to start reading it, because in that are strategies and a way to help you through a 7-day journey, help you create hormonal balance, and give you exactly what you're desiring. Click the link below this video and I'll send it over to you. I hope you learned something today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.